Skye Perryman, president and CEO of Democracy Forward, which is challenging the president's use of the Alien Enemies Act here. So first, Skye, your reaction to that emergency motion that was filed in the last few hours by the White House trying to pause this contempt threat. They're again questioning the powers of the judiciary to check the president and also saying foreign policy is the president's purview and that the judge is in some way forcing them to do foreign policy by getting Kilmar Abrego Garcia and the other migrants who were deported there back.
Well, while this should not be normal in the United States, unfortunately, it is normal course with this administration, where this filing is just yet another example of their attempt to avoid accountability, including to the courts. And last night we saw Judge Wilkinson in the Fourth Circuit, a conservative judge who was appointed by Ronald Reagan, make it very clear with the panel at the Fourth Circuit in Mr. Garcia's case that it was imperative that the executive follow court orders, and that is a threat to every single person in this country when we have a president and an administration that suggests that court orders and following court orders are optional. You see those themes, of course, the president not wanting to follow court orders in this appeal that was filed today. And like I said, unfortunately, this is business as usual for this administration.
But where does an emergency motion like that end up going, especially as you're someone involved with this case? Like, where does this go next?
You know, we're going to continue to work through the courts. We've seen the government move for various emergency things in these cases, and those have been denied. We'll, continue to see what the court does here. But the important thing for every single person in this country to know is twofold. One, removing people from this country without process, without any process at all, is something that is a threat to every single one of us. And it is something that is so concerning that you had 9 members of the U.S. Supreme Court who do not agree on much, all saying that people deserve and are supposed to get process in this country before they are removed. And secondly, and I think Judge Wilkinson's opinion last night really showcased this, but secondly, a president that is wanting to treat court orders as if they are optional, that is wanting to engage in behavior that is too cute or somehow celebratory of not following court orders, is also a threat to every single person in this country. While courts are not above criticism, we do follow court orders in this country, and the president is trying to change that. And so I think those are the two things we just want everyone to be aware of, and to know that there are lawyers like us and our co-counsel at the ACLU and so many lawyers that are going to be in court every day seeking to protect people from what truly is a generational threat to all of our freedoms.
To that end, can you shed any light on the ACLU telling us here at NBC that more migrants will be deported from Texas as soon as today, and that they're going to be likely doing it under the headline of the Alien Enemies Act? That very usage is tied up in court right now, and my understanding of why the administration wanted to use it was so that they could initially skirt the due process piece that has now become so central.
Well, the administration has tried to use this Alien Enemies Act for several reasons. I mean, one, there's just a misinformation campaign that they're engaged in. The United States is not at war. It has not been invaded. And the Alien Enemies Act is not to be invoked in times where we are not at war. That's the subject of course, our case. And we'll continue to be able to move through the courts with those arguments. But the important thing to note here is that whether it is the Alien Enemies Act or some other type of authority that the administration is seeking to use, there has been no dispute in the courts by any judge yet to look at this. Every single judge that has looked at this matter says that people in this country are entitled to some type of process. You have a judge on the D.C. Circuit recently pointing out that this country gave people in World War II who were accused of being Nazi sympathizers with far more process than what this administration is trying to do here to people who have, many of whom have no ties to gangs or any type of criminal activity. And so again, this is something that should concern everyone. We're going to be there every single day in court defending people's rights and ensuring the process will be given.